What's up everyone, it's Trinidad, and in this video I have my Abomination of Llanowar deck profile. This commander deck was built with the extra cards, mainly the extra cards from the Commander Legends set, like the commons and uncommons and rares and stuff that I pulled. And I get to use this Monarch token with the scary back one of Scary Face right here with the Abomination. And these tokens get to be used. Building this deck kind of reminded me of when I first got into Commander, back when Innistrad first came out. That's when I first started playing Magic, and I was in college and really fairly new, met some new people, and was like, I'm gonna buy a booster box of Innistrad, and I did, and I didn't pull Olivia, but went and got her and built an Olivia Voldaren deck, and it sucked. It's super janky. It was made with cards from my booster box. Some of my friends gave me some cards, and then also I went to a local card shop, and a guy helped me out and filled in like the rest of the pieces I need, basically to have an okay deck. But back then, we all ran jank. We all had some synergies, but most of the time it was just sitting around waiting for class, and if we could play, we could get a game in. So that's what building this deck reminded me of, just seeing any card that's an elf in it and just putting it together and making this deck. So enough of story time, let's get into the deck profile. So yeah, Abomination of Llanowar. Oh, creepy card right here. Basically one and green and black, one in Golgari. Elf Horror, Vigilance, and Menace. Pretty cool. And it gets power and toughness equal to the amount of elves you control plus the number of elf cards in your graveyard. So that's really cool. The fact that elves can just like create tokens and like really like what's go wide strategy. So this can get pretty pumped there, but also if you get board wiped, your elves in the graveyard also still help out. It won't be as big or whatever, but it's still gonna be pretty strong. So I think that's really cool. Abomination of Llanowar. It's an uncommon. So if you ever pull some packs, you might pull it, because it's not that hard to get. So this deck's probably super budget. I wouldn't even say, but let's just I'm just gonna go really quickly. A lot of them, like I said, are from the Commander Legends set. Finwarn Elves, Llanowar Elves, something I found in extras. Tadru Brightblade, I just wanted like more 1-drops, found him in my extras. Incubation Druid was in one of my folders. Elvish Visionary, Pollen Bright Druid. There's some cool +1/+1 counter themes with the elves and stuff, so I was like, cool, this is a common from this set, and fits. It's still an elf. Sylvan Ranger, get a land. Paradise Druid, taps for mana. Leaf Gilder, kind of same thing. Elvish Doomsayer, a little different. When it dies, each opponent discards a card. Mayara, Thorn of the Glade. What she does is whenever her or another elf you control dies, you may pay 1 and a life, and you get to draw a card. Little helps. Belbay, if you get to deal damage to a few opponents, or even just one opponent, you get 2 mana during your post-combat phase. Fierce Empath, just here to get one of the game enders. I don't have Crater Hoof, but I do have like the budget version. Farhaven Elf, just get land. Marwyn the Nurturer puts +1/+1 counters on herself for every time another elf enters the battlefield, and you can tap her to add green for her power. So she starts off as a 1/1, but can get stronger. This also taps for mana, but if you use it to cast a CMC card of 6 or greater, you get to draw a card. Reclamation Sage, pop, artifact or enchantment. Root Weaver Druid, new card from the Commander Legends set. Pretty happy to get it. And here, each opponent may search their library for up to 3 basic lands, and if they do, you get one of them, and then they get the other 2 tapped and whatnot. Then they shuffle their libraries. District Guide, help just get a land to your hand. Lys Alana Boatmaster, card from the Commander Legends, and has reach. And whenever you cast an elf spell, you may have this card deal 2 damage to a target creature with flying. So, pretty cool. Numa Joraga Chieftain. Joraga, I don't know. Basically, at the beginning of your combat of your turn, you can pay XX, and then you distribute X +1/+1 counters on any number of target elves. So, like I said, some +1/+1 counters abilities. Roastthorn Acolyte, just something that I found in my extras. Eyeblight Assassin. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets the -1/-1. It's all right. Immaculate Magistrate. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature for each elf you control, and that with Marwyn, you can get so much mana. Ivy Lane Denizen is a payoff. Oh no, not a payoff. It helps the payoff. But whenever another green creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It's the next card. Armorcraft Judge, where when it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter. So that's the payoff. Jumped ahead. Nightshade Harvester, whenever a land enters the battlefield under opponent's control, they lose a life, and then you can put a +1/+1 counter on this. So this is a cool card, especially against some like landfall decks. Like they'll just keep losing life if they keep trying to play lands. Exquisite Huntmaster, nothing too crazy, but when it dies, it replaces itself with a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token, but also has Encore, so you can bring this back, attack everybody with 4/2s, and then let them die, and then bring out some more elf warrior tokens. Wildheart Invoker, like a modest looking like 4/3 for 2, but if you have the mana, 8 mana, target creature gets +5/+5 and gains trample. Briarblade Adept doesn't really do much, but whenever it attacks, the target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, and it has Encore. Eyeblight Colors, when this dies, then you get 3 elf tokens, and you get to mill 3, which is okay because if any of the elves go to the graveyard, it still pumps up your commander. Entourage of Trest. You become the monarch when you cast this, or when it enters the battlefield in ETBs. Then you can just block an additional creature as long as you're the monarch. Nadir, Agent of the Duskinel. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on this, and when this leaves the battlefield, you create 1/1 green elf warrior tokens equal to its power. So starting off, you can get 3, but the more tokens you create and the more they die, the stronger this gets. Finn Clyde Fugitives. It's a 7/4 and pretty cool, like elf salamander rogue. They can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. They have Encore of 4 and a green, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Pretty like big creature card. But Enray's Forerunner is the card that mainly I'll be searching out with that one card, the Fierce Empath, because it has Trample, Haste, and Vigilance, and when it enters the battlefield, all other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample. So you can just get pretty big with this card. Get into this right here. So the artifacts, not too many. This one I had in my folder, but pretty perfect because Golgari Signet. You don't really need too much like mana rocks in green because green ramps like on their own. But since I don't have a lot of like cultivates or just you'll like the cultivate, the rampant growth, none of those were in like the main set, I believe. So just added these. Moss Diamond, Charcoal Diamond, Command Sphere, and Sisei's Ring, because oddly enough, like Soul Ring wasn't in like the main set; it was in just the Commander decks. Adventurous Impulse, just to look at the top 3 cards and reveal land or creature, whatever. Explore to help get an additional land. Wild Size to just a little battle trick to make a target creature gets +2/+2 and gains Trample, and a way to draw an extra card. Victimize, you choose a 2 target creatures in your graveyard, sacrifice a creature, mainly like hopefully just the little tokens, and you return them to the battlefield tapped. Funeral Rites, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, then mill 2 cards. Like I said, it's okay. Graveyard Synergies, Murder to just destroy target creature. These ones are like the only ones I could find that I had extras of, like in my little stack of extras, but Sky Shroud Claim, Migration Path, they basically do the same thing. This one lets you search for 2 forest cards and puts them to the battlefield. Cool thing about this one is they come in untapped. This one you can search your library for up to 2 basic lands of anything, but they come into the battlefield tap. But if you don't need it, you can still cycle it away. Harmonize to help draw. Eyeblight Massacre. Yeah, that's a crazy looking card. Non-elf creatures get -2 until end of turn, so like a little mini board wipe. Diabolic Tutor, get whatever I need. Feast of Succession, a little bit bigger, -4/-4, but also you get to become the monarch. Casualties of War. Read it. There it is. Artifact, creature, enchantment, land, planeswalker. You can destroy one of each. In Garruk's Wake, I hate and like this card because it's such a high costing card, but in green, it's pretty good because you'll ramp so much. Supernatural Stamina, just kind of here because it was, in the thing, and it helps a creature get +2/+0 and gains when it dies, return it. So it's an instant speed, so sometimes if you want to swing in with this and they have a way to remove it, it'd be cool just instant speed it and bring it back. Make sure it doesn't leave. Return to Nature, these are just some like cast down, some like removal stuff. Artifact enchantment, great, or remove from graveyard, and then non-legendary creature. Grapple with the Past, I just looked in like one of my tins, I guess, and then I was like, whoa, what's this card? So you put the top 3 cards of your library to your graveyard, then you may return a creature card or land from your graveyard to your hand. So like I said, fill up the graveyard with elves. Helps that. Crushing Vine, just instant speed to destroy target creature with flying or an artifact. Hunter's Insight, it's instant, so that's pretty cool, but you choose a target creature you control, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, you draw that many cards, so pretty cool, especially with all the +1/+1 counters, and if this gets really big and can get through, you can draw a lot of cards. Death Sprout, removal, but also ramp. Natural Reclamation has Cascade. This is the one that destroys artifact or enchantment, so it's kind of like the return to, or the other one, I can't remember the name, but with Cascade, Strength of the Pack gives all the creatures +2/+2 counters, or 2 +1/+1 counters, that's what I should say. So it's pretty cool. Gift of Paradise to add more mana. Pride of the Perfect to make all my elves a little bit stronger with +2/+0, and then Court of Bounty, which also helps you become the monarch, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may play a land from your hand, but if you're the monarch, you could put a creature card or a land. So it can help with also ramping. Green is pretty good. Command Tower, Opal Palace, Path of Ancestry, Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse, Ash Barrens, Myriad Landscape, Blighted Woodland, Rogue's Passage, this and that. Ooh. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 forests. I think 10 swamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Just to, get the lands. And that's basically my janky Commander Legends built profile on Abomination of Llanowar. Just brings me back to just jank building, and obviously little by little I could upgrade this. Arbor Elf, Elvish Mystic, all those little elves too, and other better token creators for elves. So this is just my version of like my step 1. I like to just build it and then play it with my friends. Obviously it'll get sleeves before it gets to the test play phase, but yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Still, there's a giveaway going on, so please go back to that video and comment, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.